And welcome back, everyone. We are two dudes talking 80s. I'm John. That's my partner, Lewis.
Hello.
And I guess today he's actually standing up. So a little different look. And what is that I see in the background? A ColecoVision?
This is a module to my ColecoVision. It is the roller controller, very much like what you would use on Centipede. And I haven't used this in probably a good 35 years. Here it is in the box, outside of cellophane.
Outside of cellophane. Okay, so we can't include that in the cellophane issue or episode. So anyway, we're going to talk about something today that was very 80s and something I really miss, and that's roller skating rinks. Unfortunately, roller skating rinks aren't really popular anymore. I wish they were. But when we were growing up, we had two. So we had Yankee Doodles, which was in the city of Burlingame, and then Rolladium, which was in San Mateo. Lou, do you remember either? I know you know Rolladium, but had you ever been to Yankee Doodles?
Yankee Doodles, I don't remember at all. I remember an ice skating ring that was towards Belmont, towards that area, but I don't think that was Yankee Doodles, right?
No, no, this was in Burlingame. So my first time actually going roller skating was at Yankee Doodles, and I had to be in middle school when we were in Burrell. And I don't know, I don't remember whose party it was, but my father dropped us off, like typical 80s, here, we'll come back and get you later, and dropped me off at the birthday party and put on my skates. And the first thing I thought is, I'm going to die on these things. I did not feel very comfortable or confident. And so there was an area where you could play video games and stuff like that, and it was carpeted. I'm like, oh, this is much safer. I'll just stay here. No pain, no gain. So I stayed there and spent pretty much the time, and I was talking to friends and things like that, and playing video games and whatnot. And my dad came back to pick me up, and he's like, "So, let me see what you learned." I'm like, "Oh shit, are you serious?" And I didn't want to disappoint my father, so I'm like, "All right, crap, I guess I'm gonna do this." And I went out there and I just started skating, and I was like, wow, I'm not bad. And I started speeding up and feeling more confident, moving and moving. And then all of a sudden, this girl came out right in front of me, cut me off, and I kind of tried to move to miss her. Bam! And I just destroyed this elbow. There was blood. It was pretty cool. And I was in a lot of pain. But yeah, I showed my dad what I had learned. And apparently, that was my ability to fall very ungracefully, unfortunately.
Blood.
Yeah.
Yikes, man. What did you what was it, your nose, your teeth? What?
No, my elbow.
Oh, your elbow. All
The
right.
elbow took it.
Yeah, Yankee Doodles, I have no recollection of. I'm not sure even I don't remember it existing at all. So I'm just familiar with the Rolladium. And yeah, I'm sorry, it looked like you're about to say something.
No, please continue.
Yeah, so my memories of the Rolladium are mostly the 70s, late 70s, but definitely some in the 80s as well. And yeah, I was the kid that was sort of hanging on for dear life on the on the rail going around the side, maybe an inch per every 5 seconds or something. And I just sucked. I never ever mastered it. I remember actually getting a technique down where I called it the skateboard technique, where you sort of had one foot that was straight and you pushed with the other one, and you didn't really use both legs the way you're supposed to. I remember when I tried to use both legs, no blood, but definitely splatter onto the tarmac. So yeah.
So we used to spend a lot of time. Do you remember Chris Payne from Burrell?
Oh yeah, I totally remember him.
Yeah. So we used to go all the time to Yankee Doodles, when we were in middle school. And, I remember some of the songs that, nothing would be cooler than air guitar and roller skating, let me tell you. And I do remember the songs that they played that I played frequently that I remember was Misunderstanding by Genesis was a big one. Hold the Line by Toto, and Billy Joel's It's Still Rock and Roll to Me. So those were the three that I really remember and would always be certainly engaged to. And then, of course, when they'd play the quote unquote couple skate, It was usually Styx Babe or Open Arms by Journey. So those were the go-tos.
Definitely remember Open Arms for sure. And yeah, holding hands with the whoever agreed to hold hands with you, and off you went. And again, to me, it was sort of a good handicap because I could brace myself and I wouldn't fall holding somebody else's hand. But yeah, I do remember that kind of stuff, and yeah, just the warm, bubbly feeling, and then just the fondness of it. It was nice. It was nice.
So do you remember when they used to do, I don't know if they did it at Roladium. I know they used to do it all the time at Yankee Doodles when they did the ladies' choice couple skates.
I do not.
Okay, so Yankee Doodles had this a lot. They do the couple skates and everything, and then they, make it ladies' choice, which was really nice for your guy because you didn't have to put yourself out there. You were suddenly the one that hopefully would be asked. And I'll never forget this really attractive young lady came up to me, asked me if I wanted to skate with her. We're holding hands and we're going around. And I think she was a little bit older than I was. And she asked me how old I was. And I don't remember. I think I was like 13 at the time. But of course, I always looked older and I was always tall. And yeah, that skate ended really quickly. I almost felt like she flung me back like some sort of roller derby thing back into the wall almost. But yeah, she wasn't having that, May, December romance thing. Not having it.
It's funny, man. I remember that you and I went there probably a little later. I mean, we were in, well, it was definitely the 80s. We were probably in our early 20s, well, really early 20s, and skating. And it was still fun. It was cool even as an adult. Again, I never mastered it. I remember you always sort of like passing me around 3 or 4 times, like, oh yeah, there goes John. There he goes again and again. Um, but the whole thing was fun. Even though I sucked at it, it was still fun. The atmosphere was fun, and it's one of those things that you look back with fond memories and nostalgia, right? I mean, kids nowadays, again, at the risk of sounding like an old fart, which I am, but kids nowadays, they don't understand that. I don't think that there's anything that they can associate with that being in this informational and electronic age where you just don't go out to do things like that anymore.
So, do you remember what happened the last time I think we were at Roladium?
I think so. I believe so. I'll let you
You
tell the
were you
story
were
because
you
you
were trying
remember
to
it
be my
more.
wingman, and no offense, you sucked as a wingman. So there was attractive young lady there, but I think she was with her sister, and her sister and her sister's friend, and they were younger. So it was kind of the same thing. It's like, is she older with somebody else or what's going on? And you said, oh, I'll find out. And you came back and she was our age. And and then I tried to make the introduction and pull something out of thin air, and it failed miserably. But I remember we were talking because we were both going to the Bon Jovi Skid Row concert, and you and I went there to pass out flyers for that show, for the Tramontaine show, and like hoped, living on a prayer that I would run into her again, but sadly it wasn't to be.
Nice slip of a pun in there. Very nice.
Thanks. I worked hard on it. So, do you remember a show? I think it had to be the early '80s, called Fridays.
Yes, yes, I do. It was sort of like oh gosh. I want to say it was they had like a string of shows like that. There was sort of a variety Saturday Night Live-ish show kind of thing.
SCTV had
Yes.
one. So
Yes, yes,
Fridays
yes.
was like the Saturday Night Live ripoff. Friday is probably not remembered very well. I used to actually prefer it, to be honest, to Saturday Night Live, because they always had good bands. Like I remember, for example, Jefferson Starship was on Fridays, and some of the other bands, of course, are escaping me. But they kind of had, I think, their claim to fame was Michael Richards, who later went on to success as Kramer and Seinfeld, was a member of the cast of Fridays. And there was an episode that they did where he did a skit about going roller skating. And I've got to find it on YouTube. If I can find it on YouTube, I'll put it in the comments. but it was hysterical. I just remember him going to this. He was like this, guy, nerdy guy, was trying to be cool at the roller skating rink, and he goes up to rent his own rent skates, and he goes, "Do you have any with puffs?" Yeah,
Vaguely
and
remember that.
I was dying, and it's such a great skit. I don't know if it holds up today. I probably haven't seen it since it came out, but I remember it very fondly, and it definitely touched on the roller skating trend of the '80s, and the desire to have puffs on one's roller skates, which I thankfully never did. Did you ever own your own skates or have puffs?
I never had puffs. Something to aspire to that now though. I owned a pair of the inline skates, rollerblade skates when those were hot in the 90s, uh, but never a pair of my own, like, just quad skates. I know Lulu's into those. She always has been, but not myself. I was more of a skateboarder guy, and even at that, I sort of sucked, but not as bad as roller skating.
Okay, I remember back in the '80s, I got so sick of it that I did finally purchase my own skates. I remember bringing them to the rink, and I went ahead and even purchased them. Well, probably now it's probably been like 10 years, but I did purchase them a while back. I think I've worn them twice, and terrorized the neighborhood, and then put them back.
I don't know if you know, but Mark Kramer actually used to be a DJ at the Roladium for a while.
I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah, he's told me some interesting stories, which I've forgotten about at this point, but I remember them being rather interesting. His choice of music. I mean, being a DJ, you get to wield a bit of power as to what people are going to listen to, and but yeah, I don't ever recall skating while he was there doing that, but that would have been neat.
That would have been a fun time, though. I would have been concerned with what he would have played. So, remember we tried to relive our glory days a few, like, I think just prior to COVID, when you came out here to visit, and there is a roller skating rink out in the Los Angeles area that's still active and continues to be active to the best of my knowledge. And I thought, wow, that'd be kind of fun, a little retro. Let's go and do that. And we got there, and I felt we were so out of place that I wouldn't even go in, because we get there and basically the line is like 18, 19, 20-year olds, and we look like their parents. I would have dropped them off. And yeah, I wasn't feeling that one, which was a shame. I wish they'd have like old people night or something.
Walk around with our walkers and canes. I'm
Yeah.
coming. I'm a coming.
Hey, I bet you skate better with a walker.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That would be my excuse. Put wheels on that sucker, and I'm off and running.
Oh, I would just say you could use it to hold you up. You're golden.
But that's actually really cool that, and I'd forgotten about that. That's actually really cool that they still have, a roller skating rink. 'Cause I don't think that they have many of those anymore. I know that the Roladium very sadly closed down, and they turned it into some sort of a website or multimedia company building, and so you don't even know that it was ever there. But that's cool. That's really cool that they actually still do have some of that out there.
Now, do you ever remember? I don't, but the Roladium having a giant roller skate on its. Okay, so I was doing a little bit of research on this, and I was trying to find out the years that Yankee Doodles was actually in operation, and I really can't find it on the internet. And but I did find some old pictures of the Roladium, and I want to say it started, like, my gosh, it was back in the '50s that they actually brought San Mateo, and
Wow.
it used to have a giant roller skate on the building. And I wonder if that thing even exists anymore, if somebody has it in storage somewhere. But kind of a piece of history, kind of like the old doggy diner heads.
I was just gonna go there. Yeah, yeah, I've seen pictures of it. I don't recall it ever being there when I went there. So it was like news to me when I saw it. It's like, wow, I had no idea that I ever had a big roller skate sitting at the top of the building.
So, got to ask you this, and you can decline to answer if you want. Do you ever get a number out of those couple skates?
No, no, absolutely not, man. Sheer rejection. I think people would just Which just appeased me. It's like, oh, look, this poor schmuck. Yeah, let me give him the highlight of his night and then call it a night. So no, never got any numbers and never any, maybe sweaty palms, but that's it.
Sweaty palms, that's okay. I think I might have gotten one, and yeah, back in middle school. But it was like, okay, how are you getting there? Now I have to bike to this person's house. And I want to say she, lived. She was in San Mateo, but it was still, I didn't drive, so it was kind of far. And went on a couple date things or whatever you called it, but that was about it.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That's cool. That's more than I can say.
It's all good, brother. Trust me, wedding bells did not ring. So would love to go back in time and do these activities again. Like I said, there are still some places that have it, which is amazing. And I think if people get an opportunity, they should look into it and go enjoy it. Go relive some of these and look for an 80s night, because I think they have those as well. So maybe the next time you're out here, we'll go hit the rink and find an 80s night, or old people night. Nobody under 40 admitted.
And bring a walker.
Bring a walker, yeah, okay. Well, anything else you want to add in regards to our days of roller skating glory?
No, man, I think that's all I've got. I remember a lot of it more from the 70s, but I totally remember, like the sweaty palm things and rolling around the rink, listening to the Journey's Open Arms. I do remember that.
All right, well, that was probably a highlight. Well, I also remember it from our middle school dances, but that's a topic for another time. So anyway, guys, as usual, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Looking back at our roller skating days and careers, hopefully you had those experiences as well. If you did, please put them in the comments what you remember from those days. If you remember Yankee Doodles, if you remember Roladium, or what your local rink was and where you hung out with. So thank you guys for watching as always. Lou, sign us off, brother.
Peace.
Thank you.